Imagine a mysterious package of baby items arriving at your door unordered, unexpected, and addressed to your ex. What secrets does it hold? Join us as Julian uncovers a shocking truth that could change everything: divorce, heartbreak, a new love, and a child caught in the middle. Will this broken family find their way back to each other? Hit that play button to dive into a roller coaster of love, lies, and redemption. You won't believe how it ends. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more gripping stories. Sir, someone delivered a package for you. Julian looked up with a puzzled expression, but gave a small nod. He continued massaging Mr. Post. Henry, the long-time caretaker, as the man gently placed the box on the floor. Curious, Julian approached and slowly opened the box. His brows furrowed in confusion. He wasn't expecting any delivery. He wasn't one to order things online impulsively, so he immediately assumed it must have been Sophia's doing again. Still, something in his chest tightened, a strange uneasiness settling in as he carefully lifted the lid of the box. "Can you come here for a moment?" Julian called out to one of the maids. When she came over and looked inside the box, her eyes widened in surprise. The box was filled with baby items, everything for a newborn. "Why, sir? What's this for?" she asked, visibly confused. "I don't know," Julian replied. "It just arrived today. I thought maybe one of the household staff ordered it, which is why I called you." "I'm pretty sure none of us maids are pregnant, sir." "I can guarantee no one in the house placed this order," she said, equally perplexed. Julian shook his head. "This couldn't be for Sophia, right?" "No, sir. I'm certain Miss Sophia isn't pregnant. She doesn't want a child just yet," the maid confirmed. Julian glanced down at the label on the package. The name printed on the recipient line made him freeze. Elena Moreau. That was the name of his ex-wife. His heart began to pound harder. Why would Elena order baby things? It had been less than 6 months since their divorce. Could it mean she was pregnant when they separated? A wave of dread and confusion rushed through him. Was Elena carrying his child? Based on the items in the box, she was likely due soon. The realization that he might be a father, that Elena could be giving birth to their child, hit him like a storm. It was even possible that she had mistakenly entered his address as the delivery location. Julian felt his breath catch. There was only one way to know the truth, and he needed to find her. "I now pronounce you husband and wife." Elena remembered the disappointment etched on Julian's face the moment the priest declared those words. They stood in front of the altar holding hands, wedding rings glinting under the chapel lights. But the way Julian looked at her, those piercing, angry eyes, was forever burned into her memory. He hadn't wanted to marry her. That truth, cold and sharp, dug deep into her heart. For Elena Moreau, the memories of that wedding were not filled with happiness, but with wounds she carried every day. "I don't love you, Elena. I never have, and I never will. So don't expect that one day I'll wake up loving you, because no matter what, Sophia will always be the one I love," Julian had said coldly, staring straight into her eyes with unwavering disgust. "I understand, Julian," Elena had replied, her voice calm despite the pain swelling in her chest. "Don't worry, I know my place. I won't get in your and Sophia's way. I know you love each other, and I won't be an obstacle." Their marriage had lasted nearly 3 years. It was an arranged union forced by their families, a loveless arrangement from the start. Elena had fallen for Julian, but he had only ever loved Sophia, his longtime girlfriend, before the wedding. Even after the ceremony, he and Sophia had continued their secret relationship. Only the three of them knew. The truth weighed heavily on Elena. "I'm sorry, but no matter what I do, I don't think my marriage with Julian will ever work," Elena said tearfully as she sat beside her father's grave. "He truly loves Sophia. I could give everything to him, and still, it would never be enough." She had come to the cemetery like she always did when the pain became too much, seeking the quiet comfort of her father's resting place. He had been her safe space, especially now that her relationship with her mother was strained. Her mother had remarried quickly after her father's death, and Elena had never forgiven her for that. It felt like a betrayal, like her mother had easily moved on and forgotten the man they had lost. Before he died, her father had one final wish, that she try to make it work with Julian to give the relationship a real chance. He believed that in time, Julian could change. But the more time passed, the more that wish felt like a burden, especially when she had to watch Julian and Sophia together, flaunting a love she never received. She remembered the look of disappointment in Julian's eyes every time he looked at her. No matter how hard she tried, nothing changed. "Let's get a divorce, Elena," Julian had said bluntly the moment he returned from a business trip. "Let's end this charade." The words felt like a punch to the gut. Julian laid the divorce papers on the table. "I already signed. All that's missing is your signature. Please don't make this difficult. I need this finalized as soon as possible." "Sophia and I are tired of waiting. I don't want people to think she's a home wrecker when technically we were already over a long time ago." Elena swallowed hard. Her tears welled up, but she held them back. "How long have you been planning this?" she asked. "Since your father was still alive?" Julian answered coldly. "I've wanted to leave you for a long time." The pain was unbearable. All for Sophia. "I don't think I owe you an explanation, Elena. You knew from the start this was a marriage of convenience. I never loved you. This was arranged, and I've had enough. I want out." Elena couldn't stop her voice from shaking. "Fine, I'll sign today." Julian was right. There was no point in delaying the inevitable. "How long will it take for our marriage to be officially annulled?" she asked. Julian paused for a second, surprised by the question. "Soon," he said after a breath. "Then I'll wait until it's done," she whispered. "You don't have to stay in the mansion anymore," he said. "You can leave today. I've transferred money into your account and given you a villa. You can stay there. Don't think I'm heartless. I just want to make this easy." She almost laughed at the absurdity. Easy, after 3 years of humiliation. "Thanks, Julian," she said with a bitter smile. Later that day, Sophia arrived at the mansion. She didn't wait to flaunt her place beside Julian. "What are you waiting for, Elena?" Sophia sneered. "Get out. You're no longer his wife. I'll be the new Mrs. Carter once your marriage is officially annulled. That makes this mansion mine." "Don't worry," Elena replied calmly. "I'm already packing like you said. We're no longer married. He's yours now." She wanted to stay just one more day in the house that had been her home for 3 years. But Julian made it clear he wanted her gone before sunset. "Should I take you to the villa, ma'am?" the driver asked. "No," Elena said. "Just take me to my friend's house, and please don't tell Julian where I'm staying." "Yes, ma'am." Elena leaned her head against the car window, tears brimming but not falling. She didn't want the driver to see her break. Her hand drifted to her belly. Julian didn't know she was pregnant, not just with one, but 2 lives. She hadn't gotten the chance to tell him, but it was too late now. "What happened? Why are you carrying all your things?" Maya asked with concern as soon as she opened the door. Elena couldn't speak. It felt like something was lodged in her throat, preventing any words from coming out. Maya helped her inside and thanked the driver, Mr. Henry, who politely took his leave. Once inside, Maya pushed Elena's wheelchair toward the living room and carried her bags in. "Did something happen?" she asked, sitting beside her. "He left me," Elena said softly. "Julian wants the divorce finalized as soon as possible. He and Sophia are getting married as soon as our marriage is annulled." "That bastard," Maya hissed. "He really hasn't changed, has he?" "What are your plans now?" she asked gently. "Does he know you're pregnant?" "He doesn't know I'm pregnant," Elena whispered, shaking her head. "I was planning to tell him, but then this happened." "Good," Maya said firmly. "He doesn't deserve to know. That man has no right to be part of your children's lives." When Maya saw that Elena was crying, she rubbed her back comfortingly. "Let it out, Elena. Let it all out. This pain will pass." Elena broke down in sobs, leaning into her friend's embrace. She was grateful that Maya and their other friends had never abandoned her. They stayed by her side during the darkest days, always ready to listen, offering strength, reminding her that she was never alone. That somehow gave her a sense of comfort amidst her heartbreak. "So Julian, I brought the contract for the trading agreement," his secretary Lila said as she entered the office. Julian didn't respond. Lila walked to his desk and placed the document in front of him. "I'll come back for it later, sir," she said. But Julian remained silent. Before she left, Lila glanced back at her boss. He looked absent, lost in thought. Is the boss in a good mood today? Another woman asked as she passed Lila in the hallway. I'm not sure. He's just sitting there, staring blankly, Lila replied. Since Elena left the mansion, Julian had been like this, distant, distracted, silent. Even he noticed the change in himself. It became a constant source of argument between him and Sophia. She often accused him of still thinking about his ex-wife, and she wasn't wrong. Elena had been on Julian's mind constantly. He didn't know why. Logically, he told himself he should be angry at her. He believed she'd cheated. That was the reason for the divorce. But despite everything, his heart refused to let go of her. Sir, a delivery just arrived for you. The same announcement was made. Julian looked up again, watching Mr. Henry carefully place a box on the floor. He approached and opened the package slowly, his brows again knitting in confusion. He hadn't ordered anything. Maybe this was Sophia's doing again. Still, he felt that familiar sense of unease as he removed the box's lid. Come here a moment, he called to a maid. The moment she saw the box's contents baby items, she gasped. Why, sir? She asked. Who is this for? I don't know. It just got here today. I thought maybe one of you ordered it. No way, sir. None of us are pregnant. I'm sure of it. Could it be Sophia's? No, sir. She doesn't want kids yet, the maid confirmed again. Julian examined the name on the package and froze. Elena Moreau. It was his ex-wife's name again. The person who had ordered the package was none other than Elena. Why would she order baby items? It hadn't even been 6 months since their divorce. His heartbeat quickened. Was she pregnant when they separated? Fear and anxiety wrapped around him. Was Elena carrying his child? The contents of the box made it highly possible. She might even be due soon, and if it was true, then Julian might be the father. Maybe the delivery address had been an accident. Sir, we confirm that Miss Moreau never stayed at Villa Carter. There's no sign of anyone living there for the past 6 months. We're confident she never moved in. Julian stiffened. What then? Do you know where she's living now? He asked. No, sir, the assistant replied. Julian nodded grimly and summoned Mr. Henry, the driver who had taken Elena away from the mansion the day she left. He needed answers. Truthfully, Julian didn't understand why he felt this way. He just knew he had to confirm if Elena was pregnant, if she had their child. Something inside him was screaming for clarity. Mr. Henry entered the room. Sir Julian, you called for me. Julian nodded. I just want to ask something about Elena. That day you drove her away from the mansion. Where did you take her? Mr. Henry hesitated. He remembered Elena's request that day and considered lying. I took her to the villa, sir. Julian's brow furrowed. But I sent people there, and they said no one ever stayed in that house. There were no signs of anyone living there. Are you sure? I don't know, sir. Mr. Henry replied, flustered. But I swear, that's where I took her. I even helped her carry her things inside because of her condition. She couldn't do it on her own, but it's been almost 6 months. Maybe she moved, Henry added thoughtfully. That place is pretty secluded. She was all alone. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't stay there long. He was thankful he knew the layout of the villa. He had accompanied Julian when it was purchased. Even though they had no idea where Elena was now, Julian paid people to search for her. When Sophia found out, she was furious. Why are you still looking for her, Julian? She's no longer your wife. She means nothing now. Why are you chasing her? She screamed. I have to find her, Sophia. I need to ask her something. I suspect we have a child, Julian said. A child? Are you serious? If she's even pregnant, it's probably some other man's. That ex-wife of yours probably cheated on you while you were still married. You don't understand, Julian said, trying to stay calm. What part don't I understand? It's clear you want to see her again, even after all this time, after the divorce, after everything. Julian sighed. Are we really going to argue about this again, Sophia? Yes, she snapped. She's always been the cause of our fights. She was the reason we broke up before, and now she's back, ruining everything again. Admit it, Julian. Do you regret divorcing her? Julian couldn't hold it in anymore. You really want the truth? He said, standing tall. Yes, I regret divorcing Elena. I regret hurting her. I regret choosing you. I regret losing her. Does that make you happy now? Sophia slapped him across the face. I can't believe you, Julian. After everything, this is what you say to me. Julian didn't respond. He turned his back on her and walked away, leaving her crying alone in his office. I'm sorry, miss. I didn't mean to bump into you. A handsome man apologized as he helped Elena gather the contents of her bag that had spilled after the collision. Her wheelchair had jolted forward slightly, causing the bag on her lap to fall. It's okay, Elena replied as she tried to bend down to pick up her red lipstick. Please don't bend over, the man said gently. You might hurt your baby. Let me get that. He picked up the lipstick and placed it back in her bag. Once everything was retrieved, he handed the bag back to her. Sorry again for the trouble. It's really fine, she said, accepting the bag with a small smile. How far along are you? 7 months, she replied. Wow, you'll be seeing your baby soon. No wonder you look happy and always in a good mood. She blinked at him. What makes you say that? Well, you didn't get mad at me, even though I bumped into you and knocked your stuff over. If it were me, I'd be furious, probably even breathing fire from my nose, he joked. Elena chuckled. It wasn't really your fault. We both weren't looking where we were going, so I'm not mad. He smiled, revealing dimples so deep that any woman would probably melt under that gaze. I'm Lucas Navarro, he said, offering his hand. She didn't hesitate to take it. Elena Moreau, she answered with a smile. Are you related to the owner of this resort? Your last name's the same. I am the owner, he admitted, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. Really? Nice meeting you then. Is this your first day here? Yes, I just arrived, she said. Have you checked in? Not yet. I didn't make a reservation. I came on impulse. Well, then let me help you check in. I'll give you the biggest room here. Oh, no need. I'm alone, so I don't need a big room. Lucas looked at her curiously. You're not with your husband? I don't have a husband. Oh, sorry. Still, I'll give you the biggest room. Think of it as my apology for bumping into you. Besides, with a big room, you'll enjoy your stay even more. Though hesitant, she eventually agreed. Lucas was persistent and charming. He pushed her wheelchair to the reception area, listed her name, and got her a key. He didn't even let her pay. I swear, Lucas, you didn't have to cover my stay. I told you. This is my way of apologizing. Even if you weren't mad, maybe your baby is. I hit you pretty hard. What if your baby's born hating me? He teased. Elena laughed and rolled her eyes. Why were you in such a hurry earlier? He asked. I was running away from my older brother. He wanted me to go with him to the neighboring island for a family reunion, but I didn't want to. Why not? Our relatives always pester me about getting married. Always asking questions but never setting me up with anyone. The elevator doors opened, and Lucas pushed her wheelchair while carrying her bag like a makeshift bellboy. You don't have a girlfriend? She asked. Nope. Really? Why not? To be honest, I don't know. I guess I'm good looking, but no one wants to take me seriously, he replied, a teasing tone in his voice. Once they reached the room, he opened the door, placed her bags inside, and excused himself. He had a meeting to attend. The room was elegant and spacious, with a king-sized bed and white sheets, a balcony overlooking the blue sea, and a luxurious bathroom with a bathtub. Lucas was right. She was going to enjoy her stay here. Have you arrived at the beach resort yet, Elena? Maya asked over the phone. Yes, I just got here, Elena replied as her eyes continued to take in the beauty of the room. That's good. I'm glad you got there safely. The island and the resort are quite remote. I'll be fine. A lot of tourists are here anyway, and the people are kind. In fact, I've already made a friend, she said. You made a friend already? Who? Lucas Navarro. Wait, that name sounds familiar, Maya said. Elena heard her typing on a keyboard. Turn on your camera. I want to show you something, Maya added. Moments later, Maya aimed her laptop camera at her screen. Is this the Lucas Navarro you met? She asked, showing a photo. That's him, Elena confirmed, surprised. How do you know him? He's the youngest son of a wealthy family. I interviewed him for a magazine feature. That interview was my big break. Wow, really? Elena stared at the picture in disbelief. She never imagined Lucas was someone so well known. Yes, the Navarro family is genuinely kind. You're lucky to have made friends with him so quickly, Maya said cheerfully. He owns the resort. He didn't even charge me for staying here, Elena admitted. He said it was a gift for my baby. The Navarros are really generous. On her first full day at the resort, Elena chose to stay outside and enjoy the peaceful view, the fresh air, the deep blue sea. It was breathtaking. She longed to explore, but her legs couldn't carry her. Still, she couldn't get enough of the scenery. It felt like her mind was finally settling. After everything, the stress, the heartbreak this place gave her calm. She had made a mistake with her online order. Somehow, the baby items were delivered to Julian's house. It was too late when she realized it. She had panicked, knowing he'd be curious and probably suspicious. Maya had suggested this trip to help her relax and hide away from Julian for a while. So far, it was working. The Navarro Hotel and Resort, hidden in a secluded part of the coast, was everything she could have hoped for. Surrounded by lush greenery and pristine waters, it felt like a secret paradise. Hey, Elena. She turned at the sound of Lucas's familiar voice and saw him walking toward her with a surfboard. He gave her a wide grin and a wave. What are you doing? He asked once he reached her. Just hanging out, she replied. Do you like surfing? I'd rather not give birth in the middle of the ocean, she deadpanned. Besides, I can't walk. Lucas laughed. That's what I'm here for. I'll be your legs. His words touched her more than she expected. I hope I can come back here again after I give birth, she said softly. You will. And you won't just come back for the beach. You'll come back for me too, he joked. She shook her head, smiling faintly. You're too confident. Of course, everyone who visits comes back for me, he teased. Wow. The wind just got jealous of your ego, Mr. Navarro. Lucas winked. Have you had lunch? Not yet. Baby and I are hungry. Let's eat together. I know a great restaurant nearby. Sure, I don't know any places here anyway. I need a tour guide. Then I'll be your most handsome one, he said. Though her wheelchair was motorized, Lucas insisted on pushing it himself. She waited for him in the hotel lobby while he changed clothes. When he returned, he wore a sleeveless shirt and black shorts. Don't you have a restaurant here? She asked as they got into his Jeep Wrangler. We do, but the one I'm taking you to has even better seafood. Are you saying your own restaurant isn't good? It's good, but this place is even better. Elena enjoyed the ride. The scenery was beautiful. The breeze blew through the open window beside her. She had grown up in the city. Living on an island had never crossed her mind. But now, she wouldn't hesitate. The tranquility here soothed her soul. Is she your girlfriend, Lucas? An elderly woman asked as they entered the small seafood restaurant. Yes, ma'am, she is, Lucas replied immediately, slinging his arm around Elena's shoulders with a grin. Elena gave him a confused look. She's beautiful, the old woman gushed. And you're going to be a dad soon, huh? That's wonderful. Yes, ma'am. I'm excited to meet our child. I just hope the baby is as beautiful as my girlfriend, or as handsome as me, he said playfully. Oh, I'm sure your child will be an angel, with good looks like yours, the woman said cheerfully as she led them to their table. Lucas continued to keep his arm around Elena as he pushed her wheelchair. After ordering, the old woman left them alone. Why did you say I was your girlfriend? Elena asked once they were seated. It was just a cover, Lucas explained. Whenever I come here, she always tries to seat her daughter with me, so we'll get to know each other. This was the easiest way out. And what's the problem with that? I don't like her daughter. That's why, even though the seafood here is amazing, I rarely visit, he admitted. Elena shook her head. So? That's why you don't have a girlfriend? You're too picky. No, not really. I just don't like her. My brother's been warning me about her too. He thinks we'll just end up fighting. Do you like someone else? Elena asked curiously. I do, he said, looking at her. I just don't know if I have a chance. What if there's no chance at all? That's okay. What matters is that I've spent time with her, that I was happy with her. Elena turned her eyes to the sea outside the restaurant's window. That was exactly how she used to think back when she was married to Julian. She had believed that being with him, even without love, was enough. She had thought that being happy beside him, even without being loved back, would be enough. But it hadn't been. Lucas was right. The food there was amazing. They ate a lot and truly enjoyed themselves. Maybe part of the reason Elena ate more than usual was because of Lucas's company. With him, she felt lighter, almost like she didn't have a care in the world. He was kind and funny, and it made her forget all her worries. After the meal, Lucas pushed her wheelchair again as they went sightseeing. He introduced her to everyone he knew. He had so many friends, and it was clear he was genuinely friendly and well-liked. 2 weeks passed since Elena arrived at the resort, and those 2 weeks had been some of the happiest she'd experienced in a long time, all because of Lucas. She hadn't once felt bored or lonely with him around. It was like he had pushed all her pain into the background. "Why did you and your husband separate?" Lucas asked as they sat side by side on the sand by the shoreline. It was late, and neither of them could sleep, so they had decided to hang out outside. He loved someone else. We had an arranged marriage. It was our parents' decision. But even before the wedding, I already knew he loved another woman. I just couldn't stop myself from falling for him. In the end, he left me. They got back together. We're divorced now. Did he break up with her before you two got married? Lucas asked. She nodded. Yes, they broke up because of me. But when my dad died, they got back together. So, you became his mistress. Yeah, I guess you could say that, she said with a slight laugh. What a jerk, your ex-husband, Lucas commented. I was just stupid. No, you weren't. It's not stupid to love your own husband. You're not stupid at all. Maybe just a little unlucky, he joked. She gave him a pointed look. Enough about me. Tell me one of your secrets. They had already talked about so many things earlier at the restaurant, so there wasn't much left to say. They turned to talking about secrets. I think I've told you almost everything except one. What is it? Lucas took a deep breath. Even in the darkness, she saw his face shift into a somber expression. I'm sick. She froze. What kind of sickness? A brain tumor. It's serious. You're joking. I'm not, he said with a soft laugh. I don't look sick, right? I take care of myself because I don't want to look pitiful. I don't want people to pity me. The doctor gave me 6 years to live. That was just last month. Elena didn't know what to say. She had thought he was joking, but now the sadness in his eyes was undeniable. Her chest tightened for him. There's so much I still want to do in life, Lucas continued. Things I never had the chance to experience because I was too focused on work and school. I don't want to die with regrets. That's why I'm doing them now. He looked out over the water and exhaled slowly. I want to make the most of the 6 years I have left. Elena didn't know why, but a part of her wanted to stay by Lucas's side to help him check off every item on that unspoken list of his. Maybe it was how quickly he had become important to her. So, what are the things you want to do in those 6 years? She asked. Lucas glanced at her and gave a small smile. I want to get married. I want to be a father. That's always been my dream. I've imagined it since I was young, being a husband and a dad. I can already picture what it would be like to hear a child call me daddy. His voice was filled with longing. Even now, Elena could tell he would be a good father, maybe even the best. And even with so little time, any woman who received his love would be lucky. That woman you like? Is she the same person you want to marry? The one you want to spend your remaining time with? She asked. Yes. Do you want to know who she is? He turned to face her. It's you, Elena. She didn't know what to say. She hadn't expected that Lucas would like her, especially not when she was pregnant and had just gone through a breakup. Hey, I've been thinking about this, he said. What if we just got married? Consider this my proposal. I can treat your child as my own. It's always been my dream to have a son. Elena couldn't give him an answer right away. 2 months passed, and Elena gave birth to a beautiful baby boy she named Theo. Lucas stayed by her side through it all, caring for her and never leaving. His parents also visited them in the hospital. They were delighted to meet their grandchild. In Lucas's embrace, Elena felt what it was like to be loved and cherished. He had never given up on her. When she and her son were well enough, they moved to Spain. Lucas frequently visited, flying back and forth from the United States. His presence in their lives became constant and comforting. His family adored Elena and her child, treating Theo as their own grandchild. One day, while holding baby Theo, Lucas cooed, "Our baby is so handsome, isn't he?" He smiled brightly. "Wow, you're smiling again. So, you agree? You're a handsome boy, huh? Just like your daddy, Lucas." Elena couldn't help the smile that curved her lips as she watched the two together. It felt so good to see someone love her son so purely, as if Theo were his own flesh and blood. Lucas had embraced the role of father wholeheartedly. Never once had he treated Theo like someone else's child. It was as though Lucas's world now revolved around the baby. Each day, Elena appreciated Lucas more. She had no doubt he was a good man, and she realized there was nothing wrong if they ended up getting married. If Lucas became her husband, she knew he would be a wonderful father to her child and a devoted partner. "Hey, Lucas!" she called one day as he sat on the sofa cradling Theo. Do you still remember what you asked me before?" "Which one?" "When you asked me, what if we just got married?" "Of course, I remember," he said, "and I'm still waiting for your answer. But there's no pressure." "My answer is yes." He blinked. "What?" "I said yes. Let's get married." Lucas's face lit up, his eyes sparkling. "Really?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes." A wide grin spread across his face. Carefully, he stood, still holding the baby as Elena got up and hugged him tightly. "Thank you so much, Elena. I promise you'll never regret this. For the rest of my life, I'll do everything I can to make you and Theo happy. I'll love and take care of you both more than I love myself." Even though it hurt Elena to know Lucas didn't have long left in this world, she didn't let that stop her. She agreed to marry him. She vowed to do everything she could to bring him joy and help him experience the happiness he had always dreamed of. It didn't take long, just a few months of preparation, and the wedding took place in Spain. Their closest friends and nearly the entire Navarro family attended, all to witness Elena and Lucas's union. Everyone was overjoyed for them, and everyone wholeheartedly approved of Elena becoming a part of Lucas's life. "I promise to be a good husband and a good father to you and our child. I'll do everything I can to make you happy. I love you, Elena. Every day, I'll show you just how deeply a Navarro can love," Lucas said. He cupped her face as tears fell from his eyes. "I love you so much, Elena. Always and forever." Before the altar, in front of Lucas's family and their loved ones, their lips met in a kiss, a seal to their vows that they would love and care for each other no matter what. "Say it again, Daddy," Lucas coaxed their nearly 2-year-old son. "Come on, baby. You said it last night. Daddy just didn't hear you because I was so sleepy." "Don't be upset with me. Please say it again." Elena smiled and shook her head as she watched Lucas trying to coax their son, who sat on his lap. The night before, Theo had said his first word, "Daddy," but Lucas had been too tired from his medication and barely noticed. "Say it again, baby. Say Daddy," Lucas repeated. Instead of repeating it, Theo leaned forward, puckered his lips, and kissed him. He then clapped his hands and said, "Auntie!" Lucas burst into laughter, his joy radiating. "My love, did you hear that?" he exclaimed as Elena approached them. "He said his first word last night, and now he's saying, 'Auntie,' but I swear he called me Daddy yesterday." "I heard," Elena replied with a smile. "Our son is amazing. I'm so proud of him." Lucas's grin stretched from ear to ear. "Our baby's incredible. One more time, baby. Say Daddy again." Lucas had kept his promise. He became a great father to Theo. Never once did he make the boy feel like he wasn't his own. He loved him and cared for him deeply. When Theo was old enough to understand, Elena and Lucas sat him down and told him the truth, that Lucas wasn't his biological father. They also explained Lucas's illness, but even that didn't change anything. Theo remained close to Lucas. Everyone had hoped Lucas would beat the odds, that he'd live longer than 6 years. They all believed he might defy the diagnosis, but fate had its own plan. On the 7th year, his health declined. His hair began to fall out. He grew weaker and paler each day. Elena stayed by his side as he lay in bed, his strength fading. Tears streamed from her eyes as she listened to his voice, barely above a whisper, professing his love. "I love you, Elena," Lucas said softly, reaching for her hand. There's never been anyone else. Even though I knew your heart didn't fully belong to me, I still chose to love you. He gripped her hand tightly. I wish I could grow old with you and our son, but I can't. My illness won't let me. Don't say that, Lucas. Don't talk like that, Elena begged, her voice choked with tears. I know Julian still holds your heart. Even if you don't say it, I feel it. And I'm not angry. I'm thankful that I got to love you, that you loved me, even just for a while. He smiled weakly. For more than 7 years, I've been the happiest man on earth because I got to be your husband and a father to your son, to our son. When I'm gone, please don't be sad. Don't let my memory hold you back. Promise me you'll follow your heart and choose the love that makes you happy. Elena could only nod, her tears unstoppable. Lucas gently squeezed her hand, his touch lingering. If I were given another life, one without sickness, I'd never let you go. I'd do everything to win your love. A tear traced a path down his cheek. I hope in our next life, I'll have more time to love you the way you deserve. But in this lifetime, I have to let you go. The last memory they captured as a family was a picture taken in their living room. Elena sat on a long couch, Lucas beside her, and Theo in between them, holding Lucas's hand as if he never wanted to let go. A tripod and camera were positioned in front of them while Lucas's older brother stood nearby, struggling to hold back tears. Smile, Lucas said softly. I'm smiling, love, Elena replied with a trembling voice. Lucas smiled back and kissed the top of Theo's head. I love you, my son. I love you too, Daddy. I love you so much. I love you forever and ever, Theo replied before kissing the back of Lucas's hand. I love you both so much. I'll never forget you, Lucas whispered. They wiped their tears, trying to smile at the camera like everything was fine. As the camera flashed, a cool breeze passed through the room. Elena turned to Lucas. His eyes had gently closed, his head resting on her shoulder. She knew he was gone. The wind that embraced them was Lucas's silent farewell, cold but filled with love. Daddy, Theo whispered painfully. I love you, Dad. Don't be sad, Elena, Lucas's mother said, as she hugged her tightly at the funeral. We all know that Lucas was the happiest man when he was alive because of you and your son. He didn't feel sorrow in the end because he experienced true happiness. Elena nodded, unable to speak. Tears continued to flow. Since Lucas's passing, she hadn't been able to eat properly. Lucas's parents had begun to worry about her. Goodbye, Lucas, my love, she whispered, dropping the flower she held into the grave. Goodbye, Daddy. I'm going to miss you. I love you so much, Theo said, tossing his flower into the grave as well. She embraced her son tightly as they both watched the soil cover Lucas's casket, slowly erasing it from view. As painful as it was, they knew they had to accept it. Life went on. Elena kept her promise to Lucas to find happiness again for the sake of their son. She gave her all to raising Theo and giving him the life he deserved. Lucas had left everything to Harry's properties, his company. She hadn't expected it, but his family never objected. Instead, they offered to help her manage the company, understanding that she still lacked the experience. 3 years passed since Lucas's death, before she finally decided to return to the United States with her son. It was another wish Lucas had left her with to follow her heart. I'm sorry, mister. I didn't mean to bump into you. Elena heard the voice of her 10-year-old son, Theo, as he stood apologizing to a man he had accidentally splashed with water. She rushed over, leaving her conversation mid-sentence, and quickly approached her son. Son, what happened? She asked. Both Theo and the man he bumped into turned to her. Elena stopped in her tracks. It was Julian. Theo looked up at her. Who is he, Mommy? He's an old friend, son, she replied, glancing quickly at Julian's stunned face. I'm really sorry again, sir, Theo said to the man. I didn't mean to bump into you or spill my drink. His accent stood out. Theo wasn't fluent in Tagalog, having grown up in Spain. His primary languages were English and Spanish. It's all right, Julian said with a gentle smile. What's your name? Theo, the boy answered. Julian froze. He looked at Elena, his eyes wide. That's That's my surname. He turned his gaze between her and the boy, visibly shaken. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter, Elena said quickly. We have to go now. She took her son's hand and smiled politely before walking away, but she felt Julian's eyes following them as they left. Julian couldn't take his eyes off the mother and son. He couldn't believe it. Elena was the new owner of the rival company that had recently emerged in the market. She looked so different now, more beautiful, mature, and elegant, but what struck him most was the boy. The child looked exactly like him. Julian was 44 now, and Elena was 41. He stared at the boy, unable to shake the undeniable resemblance. Even from a distance he knew. The boy looked just like him, a miniature version of himself. Sir, the Navarros have lived in Spain for the past 10 years, his assistant informed him. They live very privately, which is probably why you never heard that Elena married Mr. Lucas Navarro. The child, Theo, is their son. Mr. Lucas confirmed this in a press release. Sadly, he passed away 3 years ago from a brain tumor. Since then, all of his properties and companies have been managed by Mrs. Navarro. Julian sat quietly as his assistant finished the report. His eyes were locked on a photo on his laptop, Elena and Lucas on their wedding day. He had waited years for any news about Elena, but he never expected to learn that she had married someone else. Is it confirmed that the boy is Lucas's son? He asked. The assistant hesitated. That's what was said publicly, sir. But Julian couldn't accept it. The feeling he had when he received that package full of baby items years ago, that same gut instinct, was back. The moment he saw the boy, he felt it again. There was a connection, a pull, a blood bond. I need to know the truth, Julian said to himself. Julian spent the entire day researching the Navarro family. There were so many things he wanted to uncover. He had never paid attention to them before. He only saw them as business competitors. But now, knowing that Elena had once been part of that family, he needed to understand everything. The next day, there was a conference scheduled between their companies. Julian knew this would be his chance to speak to Elena face to face and finally ask what had been tormenting him since their brief encounter. Inside the conference room, Julian couldn't take his eyes off her. Elena looked nothing like the woman he had once known. She was composed, powerful, and graceful, a far cry from the tearful woman he had divorced over a decade ago. Elena, can we talk? He asked as the meeting ended. Elena looked at him coolly. I'm busy, Mr. Carter. If you have anything to say, go through my secretary. She turned to walk past him, but Julian gently caught her wrist. She stopped and turned, her expression filled with annoyance. What do you want, Julian? Can't you see I'm busy? Her voice was cold, sharp. I've been wanting to ask you this, Elena. Do we have a child? Elena froze for a moment, then laughed. Are you out of your mind? We don't have a child, Julian. We never had one. I don't believe you, he said. I have a strong feeling he's my son. He looks exactly like me, and it's been almost 11 years since our divorce. He's about the same age. I believe I'm his father, not Lucas Navarro. Elena laughed again, even more incredulous. You've really lost it, haven't you? He's not your son, Julian. He never was. He's Lucas's child. Stop this. He looks exactly like me. How do you explain that? And the timeline fits. 11 years ago, we divorced, and now the boy is almost 11. Didn't you say yourself that I cheated on you? Elena countered. Wasn't that the reason for our divorce? That I had another man? Theo is the result of that, remember? He's not your son. Julian slowly released her wrist. Deep inside, he knew the truth. He now realized that the claim of infidelity had been a lie. He had believed Sophia's words, believed the fake photos she had shown him, and that belief had ruined everything. It was already too late. Too late when he found out Elena hadn't betrayed him. Too late when he realized everything had been a lie crafted by Sophia. And now all he could do was stare in silence as Elena walked away from him again. Mom, did you see Mr. Julian Carter again? Theo asked as he sat beside Elena, noticing her deep in thought. He's your father, Theo, she answered quietly. I know, Mom, but he still doesn't know the truth about me. So, we're strangers for now. Elena sighed deeply. Forgive me, son. I couldn't bring myself to tell him. I tried, But I just couldn't do it. She looked at him with sorrow in her eyes. I ended up denying that you're his son. Theo smiled gently. It's okay, Mom. I understand why. I'm not in a hurry. One day, you'll have the courage to tell him the truth. Elena's heart ached. She could see in her son's eyes how much he longed to be with his real father. He never said it, but she could feel it in the way he looked at Julian. She wanted to tell Julian the truth. She really did, but something kept holding her back. They never got married, Maya said, updating Elena during a visit to her home. Maya, now a news anchor, rarely had time for social visits, but her job gave her access to all sorts of information. I thought they did, Elena said, surprised. I thought Julian married Sophia after our divorce. He's been single for nearly 10 years now, Maya replied. From what I've gathered, Julian was the one who called off the wedding. It wasn't publicly announced why, but he ended it months before the ceremony. Elena didn't know how to feel. Should she be happy that Julian was still unmarried? That their child wouldn't be seen as illegitimate? She didn't know. Yes, she had promised Lucas that she would give Julian another chance, that she would let Theo know his father. It was Lucas's final wish to see them become a complete family. But how was she supposed to begin? Can we talk? Julian's voice trembled as he stood in front of Theo at the boys' school. He hadn't been able to get the child out of his mind. And knowing that Elena wouldn't give him the chance, he decided to speak with the boy directly. Mr. Carter. Oh, it's you, Theo said, surprised. Is there something important you wanted to tell me, sir? I just wanted to get to know you, Julian said. Can we talk at the coffee shop across the street? Theo checked the time on his smartwatch. Our teacher dismissed us early, so sure, we can talk. Julian's heart swelled. This was his chance to bond with the boy he believed was his son. They walked to a coffee shop nearby. Theo wasn't just a lookalike. He even had similar tastes. When they ordered, he picked dark chocolate cake, Julian's favorite. It's good to know you like dark chocolate, Theo said with a smile. Oh, yeah. Julian smiled back. Can I ask you something? Theo nodded, his posture straight and formal. Even the way he cut his cake showed he had been raised with grace and by a wealthy family. About your father, do you know him? You mean Lucas Navarro? Yes. What about him? I never met him, but he owned the company that became a big competitor of mine. Theo nodded. Okay. Do you still have a problem with my dad, even though he's with the stars now? Is that why you wanted to talk to me? No problem, Julian said quickly. I was just surprised to learn he had a son. You? We lived in Spain, and we wanted a quiet life. Maybe that's why you never heard, Theo said, taking another bite of cake. Was he a good guy? Your father? Of course. He was the kindest person in the world, the best father anyone could ever ask for, and a great husband to my mom. He treated her like a queen. If I were to define perfection, it would be my dad. Julian's chest tightened. He could see the sadness in Theo's eyes. The boy truly missed Lucas. So, he was your real father? Julian asked hesitantly. I knew you'd ask that, Theo said, setting his fork down and looking at him squarely. Do you really want to know the truth? Julian nodded slowly. He was my stepfather, which means I'm someone else's son. But to me, Daddy Lucas was my real dad. Julian sat frozen. His instincts had been right all along. Theo wasn't Lucas's biological son. Then who is your real father? Julian asked. Theo smiled politely. If you really want to know, ask my mom. Then he stood up and excused himself, saying his driver had arrived. Julian watched as the boy got into a sleek black vehicle. His curiosity burned even brighter now. He wouldn't rest until he learned the truth. Julian, what are you doing here? Elena asked in surprise as she opened the door and saw him standing outside her house. Can we talk, please, Elena? I have a lot I want to ask about Theo. I need to know the truth. Please, just a few minutes, Julian pleaded. Truthfully, Elena had been expecting this. Theo had told her about their conversation the day before, including how he revealed that Lucas wasn't his biological father. She let Julian inside and allowed him to sit on the couch. I won't waste time, Elena, he began. I'm here to ask if Theo is really my son. He told me yesterday that Lucas wasn't his biological father, and I know now you didn't cheat on me. Sophia lied. She wanted to destroy us. I feel it in my gut. Theo is my son, so please, Elena, just tell me the truth. Is he really mine? Julian's eyes were filled with emotion, silently begging her for an answer. Elena took a deep breath. If I say yes, what would you do? Julian, would you try to take him from me? Would you separate us? He is mine, isn't he? Julian said, his voice barely above a whisper. We had a child, didn't we? Why didn't you tell me? Yes, she finally said. We had a child. Theo is ours. He's the result of what we had back then. Then why didn't you tell me? Because from the moment he was born, he only ever knew Lucas as his father. I didn't see any reason to tell you. Besides, I thought you went through with marrying Sophia. You told me yourself you would. I didn't want to cause problems between you two. Julian stared at her. We didn't get married. I realized I didn't love her, that I made a huge mistake choosing her. When I received that package full of baby items, I knew I had a feeling we had a child. I searched for you. I did everything to find you and our baby, but you never lived in the villa. After that, I heard nothing. Julian reached for her hand. Let me make up for the lost years. Please, Elena, let me be a father to our son. Elena looked into his eyes. She could see the sincerity and the pain. She knew Theo longed to be close to his real father, and she could see clearly now. Julian was ready. He was serious. She gave a small nod. She would give him the chance. Julian's presence in Theo's life brought immediate joy. The boy's eyes lit up whenever he was near his father, and Elena knew she hadn't made a mistake allowing this bond to form. Since Lucas's death, Theo had often seemed withdrawn, but now, with Julian back, the spark in her son's eyes had returned. I knew it. A familiar, venomous voice rang out. You're really going back to that worthless woman. And now you're playing the role of father to her son from her ex-husband. Sophia appeared suddenly at the restaurant where the three of them were celebrating Theo being named valedictorian of his 6th grade class. Everyone turned to look. Theo was terrified, tears welling in his eyes. Elena, shocked, stood protectively beside her son. Julian instinctively pulled Theo into an embrace. Sophia's words echoed in the silence. You have a child with her. What about Clifford, our son? Don't you care about him at all? You shameless woman, she spat at Elena. You really don't know your place. She lunged forward, ready to slap Elena, but Julian caught her hand and shoved her away, causing her to fall to the floor. Stop it, Sophia, Julian growled. This has gone far enough. We've been over for nearly 10 years. We're done. Clifford isn't my son. He's yours with that man you cheated on me with. When will you stop forcing that lie on me? When will you stop harassing me? Sophia broke down, crawling toward him, clinging to his leg as she cried and pleaded, Please, Julian, come back to me. I promise I'll change. I'll be a better woman, a better wife. Please. I'm done with you, Sophia, Julian said coldly. You ruined everything. My family, my trust. I don't want anything more to do with you. Just disappear from my life. Everyone in the restaurant had gone silent. Even Elena stood frozen, her hand covering her mouth in shock. Julian didn't let her speak another word. I've already lost so many years with them because of you, he said. I won't let you destroy this family now that we're finally whole again. He turned his back on Sophia. And I'm still showing you mercy for Clifford's sake, but if you continue harassing us, I'll file charges. With that, Julian, Elena, and Theo left the restaurant together, leaving Sophia sobbing on the floor. Theo didn't say a word during the ride home. His arms were tightly wrapped around Julian's waist as they sat beside each other in the back seat. Elena glanced at them through the rearview mirror, her heart heavy from what had just happened. When they got home, Elena guided Theo to his room while Julian followed silently behind. I'm sorry you had to see that, sweetheart, Elena said softly as she sat beside her son on the bed. Theo looked down at his hands. Was that woman really Mr. Carter's ex? Yes, Julian answered gently. Her name is Sophia. She and we had a complicated past. Did you love her? The boy asked, eyes still lowered. Julian took a moment before replying. I thought I did, but I was wrong. I loved the idea of fixing something that was broken. I thought I owed it to her, but I never loved her the way I should have. Do you love Mom? Theo asked quietly. Elena felt her breath hitch. Julian didn't hesitate. Yes, I never stopped loving her. Theo looked up at last, tears brimming in his eyes. I don't want anyone to hurt Mom again. I don't want to lose you either. Julian reached out and hugged him tightly. No one will hurt her again. I promise. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here for you both from now on. Theo cried in his father's arms, and Elena couldn't hold back her own tears as she watched them. After everything, the years of silence, the heartbreak, the lies, they were finally becoming the family they were meant to be. Later that night, as Elena sat on the couch in the living room, Julian joined her with 2 mugs of tea. He handed her one and sat beside her, the silence between them heavy with memories and unspoken feelings. I really didn't marry Sophia, he said quietly. I called it off. I just couldn't go through with it. I know, Elena replied. Maya told me. I regret everything, Elena. I should have believed you. I should have trusted you. I let my anger, my pride, and Sophia's lies destroy us. Elena sipped her tea, staring ahead. We can't change the past, Julian, but we can choose what we do with the time we have now. Julian turned to face her. Do you think we can start over? She met his gaze. There was hesitation in her eyes, but also warmth. We already have, she said. I'm nervous, Julian admitted as he stood beside Elena at the entrance of Theo's school auditorium. Why? She asked, looking up at him with a smile. I've never been to a graduation like this before. Not as a father, anyway. Elena gently squeezed his hand. You'll be fine. Theo is excited you're here. Inside the auditorium, the room was filled with parents, teachers, and students, dressed in their formal best. Theo sat on the stage among the top achievers of his class, his proud eyes searching the crowd until they landed on his parents. He smiled brightly and waved. When his name was called, Theo stepped up to the podium and began his valedictory address. I want to thank my teachers, my friends, and most especially my family, he said with confidence. My mom, who raised me with love and strength. My dad, who may not have been there from the very beginning but has never missed a moment since we reunited. And my late dad, Daddy Lucas, who gave me the gift of a loving home and taught me what it means to be a good man. A hush fell over the room as the boy continued, his voice steady. I'm proud to be the son of 3 amazing people. Thank you for believing in me. Elena wiped tears from her cheeks. Julian did the same. No words could express what they were feeling. After the ceremony, the 3 of them took pictures on stage. The school photographer captured a shot of Theo with his arms around both his mom and dad. It was a picture of peace, a picture of healing. I'm so proud of you, son, Julian whispered as he hugged him tightly. I love you, Dad, Theo said. Elena stepped back and watched them with a full heart. So much had changed. So much had healed. Years of pain, regret, and silence had finally led to this moment. This full circle. A family once broken, now whole.